Hey guys, today I want to talk about unusual block textures, and that is blocks that you may have forgotten about or never even realized had different uses. And we'll take a look at a couple of different examples here. The first block I want to take a look at is the kelp block. A lot of times we just think of kelp as food and we just eat it and don't even always put it in block form. It has a really interesting texture. It's probably the darkest green block in all of Minecraft. Has this X on the top of it and then a line running down either side. And so you can utilize this in some really very interesting and modern ways. It creates some cool patterns, and this green goes really well with some different greens and grays. So if ever you're working on a modern build and you want some texture or interest, I highly recommend checking out the kelp block. The next blocks I want to check out are the gray utility blocks. So we have the observer, the lodestone, the furnace, and the blast furnace. And I know lodestones are tricky to get, but I have one really cool use for it that I want to show you. So I'm a big fan of using furnaces in floors. They have this great dark gray outline and sort of a cobble texture here. Blast furnaces are a little bit darker of a gray, and they are directional. You can face them in different directions. So yeah, furnaces in floors look awesome. Furnaces in walls also look really, really cool. The blast furnace has these really nice details on the corner, and the regular furnace matches really well with your slabs and that sort of thing. Lodestones, of course, are just gorgeous. The bottom side makes a great ceiling if you have access to a lot of them. And then one thing I love to do is if you have a lodestone and a room to put it in, you can use the observer to create kind of compass points, and it really kind of shows off the directional aspect of the lodestone. So I think observers are really cool to use in this way. The next blocks I want to look at are the brown mushroom block, the jukebox or note block. They have the same texture on most of the sides, and then the loom. So these blocks, very warm, very woody looking, and you can actually use them together in some pretty cool ways. So the note block and the jukebox, they both have this really cool kind of meshy vibe. The loom on the side has a really cool pattern. It's very warm, but has sort of an oaky edge, and it's a really great way to tie two different types of wood together. Here I have jungle and oak. The brown mushroom block, again, a really great replacement for some marble or stone if you want to be a little bit more subtle. And then the bottom of the loom is a really cool texture, sort of a woody, maybe metallic kind of vibe, and it pairs really nicely with, again, some of these brown blocks. The next block on the list is the Shulker Box, and I'm just looking at a white one right now. Some of you probably know this already, but you might not know what the bottom of a Shulker Box looks like, and it's a pretty wild pattern. And of course, Shulker boxes come in all different colors. I'm just using white to kind of show off a really simplistic and kind of monochromatic look, but you could mix or match different color Shulker boxes with different colors of concrete or different blocks and create some really awesome things. The other thing that's really cool is these are functional. You can go in there and put stuff in those blocks, so that's pretty cool. The next block is the smithing table, and this is awesome for all the new nether blocks. So the top of this pairs amazingly well with blackstone, and if you can scrape together a netherite block, it looks really great with that as well. The bottom of the smithing table has a much warmer tone, and it's this really cool kind of geometric pattern with some gray accents on the corner. Looks really good with nether brick, and yeah, the smithing table really adds a lot of interest to all these new nether blocks. Next block is the barrel, and this thing is amazing. Some people might not know you can put barrels upside down, and they have a very sprucey sort of texture, but you'll notice it is a slightly different texture than the spruce block. So they make for a really great kind of pattern or inlay in a spruce floor. And then on the side, the metal part of the barrel here pairs really nicely with blackstone. So if you want to use blackstone in more of an overworld capacity and you don't want it to be quite as dungeony, this is a really great way to kind of tie wooden blocks and nether blocks together. And just like with the Shulker box, all of these are accessible and functional. So you just have a ton of storage here without really it even being very obvious. Final block I want to talk about is the Composter. This guy, of course, we use with our farms and farmers and all of that. but it makes an awesome wall. And if you put it, side by side, it creates these kind of slat patterns. And if you pair it with green blocks, it really makes the green part of the composter block pop quite a lot. Goes really well with podzol or with jungle wood. And the bottom of the composter also has a really cool pattern, similar to like the loom or that kind of thing. And then it has this sort of mottled look that runs through the whole block. And I think it's just really awesome, really kind of warm and woodsy looking. And that really just scratches the surface. There are so many blocks that we forget about, your mushroom stems or your beehives or your dead coral. They make amazing stone replacements or wooden floor variants. Some of your mushroom blocks or your ice blocks or your hay bales, really, really interesting textures. And if you use them out of context, people might not even know that that is a hay bale or a watermelon or a sponge, things like that. So I encourage you to take a look at some of the blocks that you haven't touched in a while and maybe consider them in different aspects than they are meant to be used for and see what you can discover. And that's all I got for you today. I hope this inspires you to revisit and examine some blocks that you might not have thought about before. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.